Hi, I'm Lisbeth Schorr, Senior Fellow at the Center for the Study of Social Policy, lecturer in social medicine at Harvard University, and founder of the Pathways Mapping Initiative. I'm delighted with this opportunity to describe the origins of Pathways and our hopes for its future under the auspices of the National Center for Children in Poverty. We began conceiving of Pathways in the year 2000 when a lot of new efforts were getting underway to improve outcomes for children growing up in tough neighborhoods. And there wasn't a lot of information available about what seems to work to reach important outcomes like increased rates of school readiness, third grade school success, successful transition to young adulthood, and reduction of child abuse and neglect. We knew that random acts of intervention would not achieve the important results we were after. We knew it takes more than programs and that it takes more than a single system. It takes more than child welfare services to keep children safe. It takes more than the police to keep neighborhoods free of violence. It takes more than family support to strengthen families. And it takes more than good preschool programs to get children ready for school. So we set out to put together what is known from theory, from practice, and from program evaluation, and to share that knowledge in ways that would strengthen community efforts to improve outcomes. With the support of the NEKC and the W.K. Kellogg Foundations, we developed 3 pathways, each aimed at an important outcome and all meant to serve the following purposes. First, providing community collaboratives, service providers, and local officials with reliable guidance about what has worked elsewhere that users could combine with their understanding of local conditions and opportunities. Second, providing state and federal policymakers and philanthropic funders with new ways of understanding what works so that they can think and act more broadly and deeply in their efforts to improve outcomes. Third, creating a forum through which community experience can continuously inform and modify the knowledge base. And fourth, making it easier for an array of stakeholders to develop strategies across disciplines and jurisdictions. Our approach to building a knowledge base and to connecting the dots that would get us to outcomes uses a wide-angle lens on what works. We began with a literature review, and we then convened groups of experienced researchers and practitioners with a variety of perspectives and asked them to make explicit their mental maps of what it takes to reach the outcome under consideration. For example, the mental mapping groups addressing school readiness were asked, considering the research and theories and experience you've been exposed to over the years, what could a community do to raise rates of school readiness? Posing the question that way helps to reveal the big picture, including the fact that school readiness can't be achieved by a single system or even by individual programs. Rather, you have to cross disciplinary, political, and systems boundaries. Our discussions recognize that many potentially effective actions don't achieve their intended outcome because they are implemented poorly, or in isolation, or without an understanding of how they might interact to achieve their impacts, or without enough attention to the community, policy, and systems contexts that can support or undermine effectiveness. By being inclusive about what we considered credible knowledge, we were able to get beyond identifying successful programs to find the essential attributes of services and supports, of community activities, and of policies and systems that seem crucial for success. These include not only funding and regulatory decisions, but also a community's capacity to monitor the availability of the continuity of high-quality services and supports over time, to strengthen social bonds, and to influence neighborhood norms. After organizing the information that emerged from the mental mapping meetings, we subjected our findings to review, critique, and modification by diverse groups of experts, including practitioners, researchers, and potential users, and constructed the pathways within an outcomes framework. It took several years for us to realize that the pathways were less useful as standalone publications than they would be in the hands of people and organizations that were actually working with communities that needed the information. When that insight hit us, my thoughts quickly turned to my valued friend and colleague, Jane Nitzer, and to the wonderful organization, the National Center for Children in Poverty, on whose board I had served some years ago and whose work I hugely admired. Jane and I exchanged ideas over the phone and were soon on a plane to Battle Creek, Michigan, to meet with the Kellogg Foundation. The president and staff of Kellogg were as excited as we were about the prospects of a new home for the Pathways approach at NCCP. Jane's untimely death was a serious blow, both professionally and personally. But over the last year, my Pathways colleague, Vicki Marchand, and I have had the wonderful experience working with Tanisha Woods and other NCCP staff who have responsibility for the Pathways project. We've been thrilled to see Pathways come alive. We're excited to see the new tools on this website that support the application of the Pathways framework in local communities, ensuring that people are thinking and acting across rather than within silos, developing effective strategies that reflect desired results, making meaningful use of data, and enhancing the quality and capacity of existing and newly developed services and supports. As you engage in efforts to improve outcomes for children and families, your experience will contribute to a wider understanding of what works, including the many elements that support effective interventions. To all those engaged in this important work, I thank you and extend warm wishes for your success.